Damn, Kyle.
The greatest lie ever sold. Candace Owens. Full documentary, bro. We're gonna be checking it out today. Before the video starts, smash the like button right now and subscribe if you're new. And let's get right into this video, bro. I'm super excited. Y'all know I've been wanting to listen to this interview and watch it, bro. So let's watch it together. Let's get it. Ooh, okay. I was going to turn the lights down a little bit. Yeah. Here we go. The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make innocent guilty and make guilty innocent. That is true. Bro, I have never seen this video. I've never seen this video. I didn't even know there was a video, but I guess all stores have cameras inside. So, let's see. George Floyd insert cup foods purchased with a counterfeit $20 bill. Officers were called.
Like it's a fake bill from the gentleman. I hope this is the driver in there. Which one?
That blue one over there.
Which one? Yep.
Step out and face away.
Please don't shoot me, Mr. Officer. Please don't shoot me, man.
Step out and face away.
Can you not shoot me, man?
I'm not shooting you. Step out and face away.
Okay. Please, man.
Wow.
Please. I didn't know, man.
Get out of the car.
I didn't know, Mr. Officer. I didn't know.
Get into the home.
Hey, you come back. Stay in the car. I'm sorry, Mr. Officer. I feel my knees. Stop resisting, man. I'm not. Yes, you are.
Wow. Okay.
I can't breathe.
Well, you got it down, man. Let him breathe, at least, man.
Wow, man.
I've been trying to hear about this. So he can breathe looking hard. Bring my homie down here. You ready back home?
Why did you die this thing?
Why?
Man, I can't breathe my face. Just get up.
Wow, man. Wow. It's been so long.
I have decided to do this video. It has been weighing very heavily on my heart. I want to come out and say that I do not support George Floyd and the media depiction of him as a martyr for Black America. I'm going to explain why, and I hope that some of you guys will understand where I'm coming from. I want to be clear, this is not a defense for Derek Chauvin. I hope Derek Chauvin gets the justice that he deserves to be implemented upon him, and that the family of George Floyd deserves justice.
Okay, interview take 2.
Let's get it.
It was just gut instinct, it just felt like we were being told, look over here, and I guess part of my personality is when I feel that way and somebody's going, focus only here, I want to know, okay, but what about over there? And it wasn't personal, at least not in the beginning. It wasn't personal. I would say it certainly wasn't personal until.
This video was just so disgusting, but I think it's important to understand how easily people can be corrupted into saying this type of disgusting nonsense.
Candace Owens, that right.
If anybody's going to pretend to get their feelings hurt about it,
Whoa, I didn't know Dave Chappelle said something.
you say about Candace Owens, I will laugh and laugh and laugh.
I don't care what this did. I don't care if he personally kicked Candace Owens and her stinky. I don't know if it stinks, but I imagine it does.
Then at that moment, it became personal. And I thought, not only am I going to say the truth, I am going to scream the truth louder than you can scream the lies.
I've never been so hurt inside.
Wow.
This was
Here we go. a film by Candace Owens. Let's get it, man.
Outside this grocery store is now home for a memorial.
We protest peacefully. We're kind of just helping each other out and rallying together as a community.
We need to stand together with each other.
We're here to serve justice for injustice.
Say his name.
George Floyd.
Say his name.
George Floyd.
Breaking news in South.
All lives matter.
You want more your people to die? You coward!
Third precinct has been compromised.
They're about to breach the back gate. They're taking heavy rock.
Third precinct is up in flames.
Minneapolis is waking up to a lot of its bills.
Are being thrown at police officers. We are seeing increasing violence amongst protesters throughout the country.
Cities are erupting into chaos.
Nah, the riots. Nah, I don't rock with them, bro. That's crazy.
And violence.
How long can you be peaceful when your people are dying?
We're out here trying to show them that we're angry.
This is not just about George Floyd. It's about everything that's happened in our world.
For whatever reason, it has become fashionable over the last 5 or 6 years for us to turn criminals into heroes overnight. And it is something that I find to be despicable, and it is something that I refuse to stand by any longer, and I am not going to play a part in it, no matter how much pressure comes from black liberals and black conservatives as some token of people wanting you to believe that this is the only way you can be black, is you have to say this was wrong and that this, this person was amazing. I won't do that. Why are we pretending that this criminal should be upheld as a citizen, as a martyr in Black America?
So right now I am researching Alvin and Teresa Scott. They were George Floyd's last known roommate.
Floyd's previous roommate prior to his death. This is our house, and give you a little walkthrough and tell you a little bit about our relationship. I guess it was about 4.5 years, almost 5 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Him and Teresa often read the Bible together, and that was a.
All of these is what he did. Like he got Proverbs marked right here. He used to read this all the time. Let me see, what else did he read? He read Matthew's right here. And so he used to be in his room, and our room was next door. Boy, we stood up here on the top of the stairs. And this time we prayed longer than we ever did. I think we prayed for like about 5 or 8 minutes. Usually we'll do a prayer and it's like quick and everything, but this day we prayed longer than we ever prayed. And that was the last time I seen him. That was the very last time I seen Floyd that day.
So you guys, in many ways, were some of the people that were the closest to him.
Very, very, very interesting. She's saying that they read the Bible together, but why was he doing things with fake counterfeit bills? You feel me? That's what's confusing to me so far. It's like it seemed like he's a man of God, but you walking in with fake bills. It's like I'm really confused, But let's keep it going.
Yes.
And I don't remember seeing your faces on the news or anybody talking to you. So
around you, more one-on-one. And he was real open about, things he was going through and what he wanted to be. And his old dream was to get his life together, and have a good job and be able to take care of his daughter as well as his family.
He wants a fresh start, and he wanted to do better, and he happens to run into you, and this is a beautiful home.
The Floyd that I knew in this house was a good person. And if he did do something bad, he hid it from us. He didn't do it around us. If he did it out there, he did it out there. That's his business. It's not mine.
Addiction is hard.
Yes.
It's full stop hard.
Right.
But family is different. It's a different part of them, and so the struggles that they're maybe facing out on the street is just not something that they ever want to bring to their doormat,
And that was Floyd. I mean, if he did have addiction out there, he left it in the streets. He never brought it home.
Sometimes a little urge to get something pure.
But what about, do you think that if he had complied, because I'm sure you guys have seen the full tape by now, right? Mm-hmm. And you must be thinking, woulda, coulda, shoulda, if he had that mentality going into it, let me just do what they're saying, and, because it's just such an escalation when you see the full tape of, yeah, he's not, and maybe because he's not feeling too good, but yeah, and then he's like, put me on the ground, when he says, put me on the ground. And
Okay.
And I'm on the ground. I'm on the ground. I'm on the ground.
Getting in the squad.
Let him look at it and go, man, I wish
didn't
that
know
time
that.
he had taken his own advice and just been like, okay, guys, take me wherever you want to take me.
Yes.
Do you think that a lot of people maybe came out of the woodwork because there was an opportunity, you know, to grandstand, to be on stage, to, you know, a lot of money got thrown around, which is part of what I'm exploring in this documentary. I mean, Black Lives Matter Global Network came out and said we raised $90 million plus, and they did this with his face. Just his face, or saying you had some association with him, could have gotten, you know, garnered a lot of people money. Do you think that people took advantage of him?
Yeah, it's like they use it as what you say, a way of funding whatever they motivation was. And then like at sometimes when I went to the George Floyd Memorial, it was different individuals going around there saying donations for this, for Floyd, for this, and
Yeah.
you didn't know where they was coming from. You got a little metal box, and I don't know who you are. Where is this going?
Yeah. Through the media, receiving overwhelming
To
support
meet
from
with the
celebrities.
president and the vice president, and for them to show their concern to our family.
I have to be strong, because that's what he would want me to do.
I ain't never met a brother. None of them ever came here.
Wow.
And Floyd been living in this house. We've been in this house going on 6 years, am I right?
Yeah. But for the 4 years, no. He just...
They never wanted his stuff. I mean, I would think that if my
They didn't
son,
even come and look and
daughter,
see where the man lived at.
I think they did a DNA check, and the boy is not his, another girl.
Are you serious?
What the freak? People claiming to be his brother, his son, his daughter? That's crazy.
I don't know.
That's we gotta leave that to Maury. I don't do that.
Claiming to be from the water department, okay. She opened the door and received several other men forcing their way into her home, pistol whipped her. Dang. The 6-foot man in a blue uniform was George Floyd.
And how absolutely traumatized that child was.
Yeah.
And then you think to yourself, just a few years later, and you will have children that are wearing his shirt, referring to him as a hero, as some sort of savior, right?
That's crazy.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
It's not right at all. And by the way, I am not saying that if you have a record, you don't deserve a second chance. I do draw the line when it comes to second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth chances. Two things can be true at once. You can both say that George Floyd didn't deserve to die, no matter how you believe he died. Nobody deserves to die, in my opinion. And you can also say that objectively, this person that did die was not a saint. This person was not an angel.
Come on, Link.
Okay, this is super interesting because he's saying mama again.
Right.
And obviously I know that throughout the trial, his girlfriend testified that he calls her mama, and the media made such a big deal saying that when he died, he cried out for his mama.
Yeah.
And they clearly misinterpreted that because this is a 2019 arrest. He's once again saying, I want mama. So that seems pretty clear that he's talking about his girlfriend.
Yeah,
He's
his
not
girl.
crying out for his mother, which was a nice victim narrative.
You and Floyd,
Wow.
Mr. Floyd, excuse me, I'm assuming like most couples had pet names for each other.
Yeah.
And what were you saved in his?
Bro, they did their homework, man.
Mama.
Candace spoke with Derek Chauvin's mother, asking her to add her voice to the documentary.
Literally nothing. Like, I mean, my heart breaks for her, obviously, like hearing, like she's obviously just devastated, but she's being told by his lawyer to say absolutely nothing. So she's not gonna come on camera, she's not gonna participate. He's not
Right.
gonna come on camera or participate because they have a pending appeal. And my frustration and what I expressed to her is I'm just like, So your strategy for the appeal is the same thing that your strategy was during the entire trial, silence.
All right, we're gonna go to Officer Derek.
You know Derek Chauvin.
I do. I was a Minneapolis police officer for 31 years.
Is it the same Derek Chauvin that the media has introduced the world to?
Not at all.
Wow.
Derek is quiet, somewhat quirky, not a big guy, very dependable, shows up to work every day. Derek is the kind of guy that you want to show up on your calls with you. He's very level-headed.
Derek, when I first supervised Derek, I was a sergeant and I was running a unit for Homeland Security. Derek got assigned onto my unit, and at the time he was living with his mom, which I thought was admirable that he wanted to help take care of his mom.
Derek is a quiet, thoughtful, honorable, and selfless man. He has a big heart, and he always has put others before his own.
He was kind of a guy that was a little more of a loner. You know, some probably would have considered him socially awkward.
You've described him as quirky, and somebody else kind of described him in that same way. What do you mean by that?
Kind of quiet, introverted. Sometimes he wears his uniform pants a little high on his boots. Just that way. You know,
maybe not the quarterback of the football team.
Not the quarterback of the football team.
Okay. Did he ever have any issues with other police officers? Was there ever any signs that he was particularly violent or had issues with people because of their skin color?
No,
Right.
never.
Wow.
No, that is not the Derek I knew. Mm-mm.
Where is Derek today?
Derek is at Oak Park Heights Prison. He sits in a cell for 24 hours a day. He does not have any reading materials, no TV, no computer, no nothing. He just sits in the cell.
What?
And that's it. You sit and look at the four walls in your cell every single day.
What was your initial reaction?
It would be hard to read for most people.
That's really interesting, man, because you see on social media, you be seeing dudes in prison, they got a cell phone, they be grubbing dead good, they be literally making videos and posting them on TikTok. So that's very interesting. They didn't even give him a book, a Bible, or nothing. I mean, maybe they probably be in a prison versus jail. So maybe that makes it different. And they say, oh, I know this isn't a prison, so you can't have a phone, or this isn't a jail, so you can't have a Bible. So I don't know. Maybe they do that. I don't know.
That you can go.
Okay. So they got him in solitary confinement. Okay, that's okay. I understand.
As a person and a police officer.
George Floyd was a semi-regular customer. He'd come around not so often, but he was someone we'd recognize, and he'd come here maybe to pay his phone bill or get phone services. So anytime a customer brings a counterfeit bill, and you see we have plenty of them, we tell them, hey, this is counterfeit. If the customer insists, then we call the police, and then the police has to ask them where they got it from. Back here again.
Okay.
And then a few minutes later, George Floyd made a purchase in the tobacco shop with a counterfeit bill, and the employee then called the police. They arrived about 45 minutes later and found George Floyd in his car, and that's when they approached him.
Wow.
Damn, man.
Stay in the car. Let me see your other hand.
I'm sorry.
Dr. Ron Martinelli, forensic criminologist and certified medical investigator and police practices expert. Let me just preface this. You know, I have no dog in the fight here, all right? We classically get a lot of officer-involved shootings and in-custody deaths, but we take them from all sides. So my advocacy is for facts and evidence, not for people or entities. So if the officers are doing what they're supposed to be doing as they were trained to do it, I'm going to tell you. If they're not, I'm also going to tell you that.
What was your assessment of the police behavior in seeing the full video and seeing how things played out?
They make contact with Mr. Floyd, and that is totally appropriate because they're investigating a third person's report of criminality.
Stop moving. Put your hands behind your back then. I'm not gonna do nothing. Stop resisting, man. Stand up.
Please, man.
Kill the individuals in there.
Yeah.
So once they put the handcuffs on Mr. Floyd should have known, albeit he's under the influence of drugs,
Ouchie,
What
man.
are you on something right now?
No, nothing.
Because you acting real erratic.
That he must obey the officer's directions, orders, and commands. He cannot resist arrest.
I hear you, but you are going to face this door right now.
Listen up, stop.
I don't know anything. Man, please don't do that.
Take a seat.
I'm going in, Mr. Officer. I'm going in.
No, you're not.
And so when Mr.
Wow.
Floyd gets in a car and he claims that he's claustrophobic,
Right. Claustrophobic is exactly what he said.
I'm claustrophobic. Stay on. I'm just claustrophobic. That's it.
I think if I was an officer, I'd be saying, wait a minute, you showed up in a car. You wouldn't get in a car if you thought you were claustrophobic. The officers placed him in a position that's referred to
What
as the
the
maximum
heck?
restraint position. In other words, he's prone, stomach down, on the ground.
That was weird.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, good morning. We plan to prove to you, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Mr. Chauvin was anything other than innocent on May 25th of 2020.
From the perspective of Miss
So it wasn't the whole time.
It appears that Officer Chauvin's knee is on the neck of Mr. Floyd.
Yes.
Would you agree that from the perspective of Officer King's body camera, it appears that Officer Chauvin's knee was more on Mr. Floyd's shoulder blade?
Yes.
They had to have the jury believe that it was a neck restraint, it was the knee on the neck, it was asphyxiation that killed George Floyd. However, there was a ton of evidence that George Floyd consumed a toxic, lethal cocktail of fentanyl and methamphetamine. Put it in perspective, 3 grains of fentanyl on the head of a lead pencil, enough to kill you, enough to kill me. And so they had to continuously inculcate the public to believe that Derek Chauvin intentionally, premeditatedly murdered George Floyd, and drugs had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Right.
As Lindsay and the toxicologist presented that awful testimony, exterior trauma, interior trauma, but I go right to the cardiovascular system.
Right.
And there I look at the heart weight. How much does the heart weigh? And then I take a look for key words. I compare the heart weight to the height and weight of the individual, to what the toxicology report says, and I look for certain words or evidence of something called cardiomegaly. Cardiomegaly means an enlarged heart. And if a person has cardiomegaly, their chances of sudden cardiac arrest rise by 150 times, not 150%, 150 times. That is significant. And then we have the whole issue of the police encounter and the basal metabolic rate rising. Think about him being agitated, chaotic, excited, and his heart is pumping. There is zero empirical forensic evidence, medical evidence of any biological mechanism, physiological mechanism that would have interfered with George Floyd's ability to get sufficient oxygenated blood up into the brain. There's zero evidence of that.
Wow.
There was another passenger in the vehicle, and that passenger was Mr. Floyd's drug dealer.
It was fentanyl.
There was some evidence that came out of chewed up pills that were found on the floor of the police car. It's very unclear to me why that evidence was not obtained earlier and presented to the jury.
Yeah.
But I think if the jury had seen the entire picture, not only of Mr. Floyd's drug dependency, his multiple prior brushes with law enforcement, but his physical characteristics at the time of the incident and his ultimate death. Absent the interaction with the police, he could easily have died with the amount of drugs in his system with no knee on his neck or on his shoulder. And so to me, that would have suggested, if I were on that jury, reasonable doubt, but our system is such that a jury gets to decide that. Now, there were other factors, I think, that polluted the jury's ultimate ruling. Ultimately the jury reached its conclusion.
I'm praying the verdict is the right verdict, which is, I think it's overwhelming in my view.
We've got to get more confrontational, make sure that they know that we mean business.
I want to see the charge.
Last May.
I just want to thank the prosecutors, I just want to thank God, the DNA, everybody. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
And I hope every killer cop is watching and paying attention, because today the Black Lives Matter movement served notice on you.
What the heck?
Start with you. So being an anchor and having that position, how did you juggle being married as well to a police officer in terms of covering stories?
Well, I went to our management right away before I even went on a date with Newsworthy. There was a state rep candidate there that was beating me in effigy. They made piñatas of Bob and I dressed as Klansmen.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Slow down here.
Huh?
You're telling me that they made piñatas of you in effigy and they beat them?
With bats.
John Thompson did with a stick.
In our driveway. This is the man running to be a state representative in Minnesota.
In your driveway.
Overwhelmingly elected.
That's so disrespectful, bro.
Anybody who support his racist ass. Bob Crow, I said it.
I mean, it was horrendous, absolutely awful. And I got in trouble for pitching that as a story. We had reporters tweeting their alliance
In
with
front of
Black
my
Lives
house.
Matter
It's
using
crazy.
that hashtag after this movement, talking about it's okay to align yourself with this group and supporting Black Lives Matter. And that was fine. But I was no longer wanted there, and that was pretty clear.
What was the process of making these?
I mean, if you've ever been so angry you wanted to make a piñata, that's where I'm at. Just f them. Just absolutely f them. That's where I'm at.
So when did you make the decision to leave?
My contract was up in January of this last year, and I had been blackballed in the market.
I can interject. They were successful in destroying her career because she had a wonderful career trajectory going. She's a small town, Worthington, Minnesota local. She was a local favorite. She was the primary fill-in for the two main anchors. She had a weekend anchor. The rating.
It's just crazy how the media can change your life, good or bad, bro. It's insane, man.
They had were huge. Everybody loved her. And then all of a sudden, this twist. So I watched it destroy her and destroy her career, something that she's very good at and a lot better, quite frankly, than some of her competitors.
All because she's married to him.
Or her replacements.
$1 million in damages to small business owners.
Oh, I'll help the protesters get out of jail.
$100,000 to bail out protesters.
Then she said, well, let me up it to another 100,000. Now, when you have approximately 30 million followers at the time, you can start a movement and people.
What incentive does she think that's going to push? Oh, bet. Chrissy Teigen go get me out of jail. Let me go steal some stuff. What? That's crazy.
People say, oh, well, she's going to bail me out and everything. And then, you know, you've got celebrities like Jennifer Garner giving 4 hearts to that post. Well, they all live in gated communities, and it's not their stuff being destroyed.
And you had just been looted.
Yeah, I went online and posted an Instagram of the store being looted, and I tagged, thanks, Chrissy. She wrote under this post, well, like anyone's really shopped there for 10 years.
So her instinct after seeing that your store had been actually looted, her response is, well, no one shops at your store anyway. So she was not sympathetic to the victim in this circumstance.
Not one bit. But Jen Atkins was actually worth people following you.
Yeah. That's messed. That's jacked up, bro. That's messed up. It's wrong. It's evil.
So Dana decides to jump in and call you and Kitson a racist store because you were upset that your store was looted.
Yeah.
This made you a racist somehow.
Right.
Way to point the freaking. Wait. Oh my goodness. How do you just sit there and make the victim feel bad? Point the blame all on the victim. That's crazy, man.
This was quite literally blaming the victim. Then what happened?
She sends a DM saying, well, before we get on the phone, you're going to have to apologize to Chrissy Teigen, and then I'll take down the post.
Dana Omari, from her Instagram account, wrote exactly this. You need to make a formal public apology for blaming a woman of color, she was referring to Chrissy Teigen, for your store being looted. and Chrissy needs to be named. In this apology, you should mention it was insensitive to place the blame on a single person and that the true cause of the riots is the mishandling of police brutality toward George Floyd and the Black community as a whole. You should also say that while you are devastated by the looting of your store, you recognize it comes from a place of privilege to be concerned about replaceable items when others are protesting for their rights to live.
On the phone for 53 minutes. And most of the conversation was, you need to apologize to Chrissy Teigen. I said, I'm not apologizing to her. There's no reason to apologize to Chrissy Teigen. But what are you looking for? Are you looking for money? I was worried that how aggressive they were and the looting was still approaching. And then after she got out the conversation with me, she texted me from a phone number. And if you don't make the donation, I'm gonna repost this. I'm gonna make another post on unfortunate posts that won't be good.
So she just blackmailed you, literally. She just blackmailed him.
So let me ask you a question. Chrissy Teigen, Jen Atkin, a blogger in which they both follow, why do you think they felt the need to get involved on such a level and to be so supportive of the looting?
Well, I think there was a side that they felt that it would help them become relevant and heroes and everything.
Did Dana mention anything to you about Chrissy Teigen and her having a relationship?
Yes.
When pressed to clarify her relationship with Chrissy Teigen, she declined to comment. Because you know you wrong, bro. You know you wrong. You know both of y'all wrong.
My name is Charles and I grew up in Kenya.
How long have you lived in Minneapolis?
I came to Minneapolis in May of 1997, where he lay dead and breathed his last right here.
Right. And so the idea is that no one should enter. This is sort of a sacred place, is that correct?
Yeah, you can see this. It's pretty much a holy ground.
Holy ground?
Now, you're a pastor, so I just wanted to ask you, how does it make you feel, right?
I want to know.
Knowing, obviously, who George Floyd was and how he lived his life, to see that this has been transformed into a holy ground, you know, as if this is where Jesus Christ took his last breath.
Well,
thank you. Oh my goodness.
We have better people to follow. Of course, Jesus Christ, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who have lived their lives and epitomized what we would like to emulate.
Right, right. And how does it make you feel when you hear leaders, you know, saying that the death of George Floyd is more significant than Martin Luther King?
It's outrageous.
Wow.
I guess I would have assumed when Black Lives Matter announced that they raised over $90 million, who knows how much over, on the back of the George Floyd riots and the sprees. Where is that money?
I don't know. It's
not there.
This place, right? And we went half on everything, you know, the rent, light, gas. So when it happened to Floyd, everything fell back on me and Alvin. So
we got a car out there, it's just sitting there. We couldn't do nothing with it because he didn't. We don't have the title. They won't take it or move it.
It is just shocking to me because of how much money was raised to think that where he lived, the bills weren't being covered. Happened to the approximate $80 million that was raised by them between July 1st of 2020 and June 30th, 2021. Okay, Vivek, so during the George Floyd death and the aftermath, you were in Silicon Valley, is that correct?
Yeah, I was running a biotech company, actually, and I was CEO at the time, that's right.
What was the corporate reaction in Silicon Valley?
It was a pledge of allegiance to one cause, to turn this man, who had died in a tragic death, no doubt, into some type of new modern messiah figure. And I thought that the religious quality of every company bending the knee was a bit odd, and I was actually pretty keen on making sure that I didn't lie to my employees, that I didn't tell them something that I didn't believe about. The BLM organization, who pays nearly $6 million for that same house, booking a personal profit to the person who actually bought it. So that's a self-dealing transaction that enriches personally somebody who's working for Black Lives Matter. Why is BLM buying big lavish mansions in the first place?
When their donors were understandably outraged by the luxurious purchase, Patrisse Cullors came forth and also admitted that she hired both her mother and her brother to work at the property. What sort of work, you ask?
Yeah, what kind of work?
Well, Patrisse Cullors' brother, Paul Colors is a graffiti artist by trade.
Okay.
That's what he's done his entire life. He's done graffiti. Patrice instead hired her brother to do security for her. She paid Paul $840,000. That's almost $1 million in just 1 year to her graffiti artist brother, his newly established security firm.
Wow.
Now, that makes her a great sister, but perhaps she's an even better baby mama because Patrice also gave funding from Black Lives Matter to take care of the man who fathered her son. His name is Damon Turner, and he received $970,000 from BLM to his company Trap Heels LLC, which purportedly provided live production and media. So that makes Patrice a great sister, a wonderful baby mama, and also, by the way, she's a fun mom. Because one of the events that Patrice organized at her BLM mansion was for her young son's birthday party. Nothing says taking on police brutality quite like hosting a birthday party for your young son in a Los Angeles mansion paid for by donors to the cause.
Wow.
Patrice likes parties, by the way, because she also threw a party there to celebrate the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And yeah, that's somewhat suspicious because what do Democrats have to do with Black Lives Matter?
Yeah.
I think I'll just leave that question open-ended. Also suspicious is the fact that Black Lives Matter designated a whopping $8 million to an out-of-country grant. What? I thought this charity was about addressing police brutality in the United States. Apparently, to do that, you need to send $8 million to Toronto, Canada, to an organization named M4BJ. They purchased a $6.3 million, 10,000 square foot downtown property in Toronto. And I should also mention that M4BJ is run by Patrice's wife, Janiyah Khan, because it is. She is the co-founder, believe it or not. And here's where it gets really interesting. Janiyah Khan is gender non-conforming. These terms can be quite sensitive, so let me just use photos to illustrate my point.
Yeah,
Janiyah
please.
used to look like this, and now she looks like this. Now that information would be entirely irrelevant if it wasn't for the way that Patrice Cullors saw it fit to spend the rest of Black Lives Matter's money. Ready for some BLM pride? Well, according to their IRS form, $200,000 went to the Transgender Justice Funding Project. Another $200,000 went to the Transgender United Fund. Another $200,000 went to the Transgendered Law Center. Another $400,000 went to Transgender Advocates Knowledgeable Empowering, or TAKE, as it's known for short. The founder of that organization is a transgendered individual by the name of Darrenisha Duncan Boyd. Darrenisha is also the executive director of the Transgendered United Fund, which I mentioned earlier, which secured $200,000. So a total $600,000 of BLM money went to a transgendered woman named Darrenisha Boyd, who is operating two charities. I found that piece to be very interesting.
It is.
Just in 2021, they announced that they purchased a second property next door to the first one. So, yeah. Now, all of the organizations that I just mentioned, none of them, not one, is up to date on filing a tax return with the IRS, which is required for charities. Because charities, remember, they don't pay taxes. In other words, I'm not able to tell you how any of these transgendered organizations spent the money that BLM poured into their organizations during the 2020 and 2021 tax year.
Tax-free.
If you continue to look at protesters, it's a fair question then. Is it plausible that Patrice was giving money to groups that were creating protesters or training activists, rather? I mean, why else would Patrice give millions of dollars to so many trained activists? I wanted to investigate that piece.
Yo, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Further and so.
It makes so much sense. It's like everything's just tying together.
I made some phone calls. So I want to call some of these groups today, pretend that I want to give money to the organization. How are you guys involved actively? Not just in, oh, you know, we want like to know how you are actually active.
Yes, We are trainers, we are healers, we are artists, we are creators, but most importantly, we are on the front line. We are fighting for freedom consistently through and on the front line at protests. We have supported bail funds. We have supported pop-up workshops. We are not only keeping people prepared by preparing their minds for the movement, but we're also putting them in community with spiritual workers and with other educators on the ground during those protest efforts, along with made a significant gift for the specific purpose of bailing out protesters during the 2020 uprising.
That's so wonderful.
One of our economics and governance organizers who worked and been showing up for court dates and packing the court and offering her legal support. So
that's what we want to see. That's what we're looking for. Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time. I hope you have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much.
That was funny. That was funny. Yes, that's what we're looking for. That's amazing, man. Oh, Candace is funny. That's insane.
Training activists, making sure that people's minds are poisoned and that they know that they're supported through bailing out. We will bail you out. We've got the money to bail you out. And that's kind of what this is all about. They're filing is an organization called Living Through Giving Foundation. The Living Through Giving Foundation, per their mission statement, strives to connect people through organized acts of love. Of course, when I went to the IRS website, they also had neglected to file an up-to-date return, but there was a name at least, and that name was AJ Reeland, listed as the executive director. AJ owns 3 coffee shops in California. You'd have to imagine my surprise, though, when I found an article about his coffee shop opening in 2019, and buried within the piece was a picture of none other than Patrisse Cullors, sitting there with her friends having coffee.
See, I didn't want to say it. I did not want to say it. I was like, in my head, I was like, please don't tell me Patrisse Cullors' oldness. She's trying to get all this money tax-free. If she gives it away as a donation, it's not taxed. So if I own this business, this one, donate to all of them, I'm tax-free for the year. And then she can keep, oh man, and she ended up, if she owns, okay, wait, we don't know if she owns it. She's just in a picture.
Upcoming events. Is she a part owner of those coffee shops? Is she an investor?
Right.
I will leave that as the $2.3 million question. What I can say for certain is that you don't just send your non-black friend $2.3 million just because. Perhaps most...
If he's going to get someone, I see a very cute German Shepherd, it looks like.
This morning, I woke up to Candace Owens being outside of my house with a news crew.
Looks to be maybe in his mid-40s, white male, black hat, and he is, whoever he spoke to on the phone has instructed him to record us, which is strange because we just want to talk. And what I see in the driveway are 2 cars and a sign that says you are exactly where you are supposed to be.
She was demanding that I come outside.
Hi. Hello. Hi, you're welcome to record. I just want to talk. Are you instructed not to speak to anybody? We're not trying to harass you. We'll gladly leave. We're just wondering if we can speak to anybody. Sorry, what was that? Okay, I just thought this was a house for Black Lives Matter.
It's unacceptable and it's dangerous that anybody, any stranger, come outside of my house.
You're just trying to figure out if this house is actually being used for Black people in a creative space at all, and it doesn't seem that way.
What happened this morning is not safety.
She's crying?
It's not what I deserve. It's not what any of us deserve.
I can't see how this purchase helped Black lives anywhere in America. I can't even find a Black life on the property. The dog's not even Black, so there's that.
So they're literally trying to destroy us. They're trying to destroy me. They're trying to destroy the movement. And I just need us to be stronger.
Ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Ma'am.
What could be more emblematic of Black Lives Matter than that? Playing the victim to the public, hoping that you can get sympathy and perhaps that sympathy will transform into dollars. And of course, after we exposed that lie, she subsequently wipes her Instagram. Of course. And says that she needs a mental break and needs to reevaluate stuff. And what I'm hoping is that by the end of this, they'll wipe the entire organization in charity, you know, because it is not what it seems. The real story is a story of addiction. That's it. That's actually a story that could have brought people together globally. This was a man that was high on drugs and went into a store with counterfeit bills. He sat in a car with his dealer. Obviously, they had drugs on them. Drugs were found on them. And I believe that in his final moments, when the police arrived, he ingested a lethal amount of drugs.
Wow.
And unfortunately, the paramedics and the medical attention that this person would have needed in the immediate never happened, never transpired. You were all lied to. That's the truth.
Yeah, man. And people don't like being lied to. They still have not received any support. That's wild. Even after... Wow. She paid a year's worth of George Floyd's rent back. Wow. That was really nice. Okay. Moved his car. Yeah, W Film. W Film. Special thanks. Yeah, man. People don't like being lied to, so when they have this information come out, they're probably like, play the victim. And it's crazy how Candace pulled up to her house. Candace pulled up to this woman's house. And it was supposedly a BLM, a space for black people. So her showing up wouldn't be out of the ordinary, right? But as soon as she come up, Candace Owens harassed me. She demanded me to come outside, y'all. And she knew people would go be on her side for a little second until Candace made her video. And now people are like, that's why she wiped her on Instagram and said, I need to take a mental break. Bro, no, man. This is insane, man. This is literally good versus evil right now. You feel me? It's actually insane. What can I say about this, man? I don't even know. You know, I can't say she wasn't smart because she knew, okay, we just made $80 million. How can I keep as much as this? Because I can't, you know, because what's done in the dark must come to the light, right? And in her case, it came to the light. So she probably said, okay, how can I keep this as much as possible? She probably calling financial agencies, calling this person, that person, but it has to be whatever she wants. So she called trans communities, making this and that, and then donating to them. Finding out it was tax-free. Wait till the year after. Take that money and then use it to indoctrinate more freaking kids to support your terrible cause. You feel me? I'm glad this interview came out. I'm glad I reacted to it. I'm glad I watched it with you guys. If you watched it with me, comment down below if you stayed to the end. But yeah, man, let me know in the comments below how you felt about this video. I'm so happy this interview came out. I'm wondering how the world's reacting to it. I think I did see Candace Owens post a video on how the world is talking about it. So I want to watch that and see what she's been receiving. I know she's probably getting a lot of backlash. How could you do this? You hate your race and stuff like that. You know, they come up with all types of stuff if you don't agree with the narrative, if you're not a victim as well. So they try to push you down to where you're out the way, make you feel sad. So yeah, man, this was very interesting. You know, and at the beginning of the video, I said that George Floyd's a man of God. So what's happening? And I didn't mean that to where like he's perfect. You feel me? No way, shape, or form did I mean that as, you know, he's a man of God, so he must be perfect, y'all. What? No, I didn't mean that. You know, we're all sinners. We all come short in the eyes of God. You know, that's why we need Jesus. So I don't want to make it seem like that. Y'all probably like, Cam, just because he Christian doesn't mean he perfect. I know. I didn't mean it like that. But I just found it very interesting how the lady was talking to him. And I'm like, why would he walk into a store with counterfeit bills and he's shouting to you? But I mean, like the woman said, he'd be one way in the house, but in the streets, he was being a different person, you know? And it's like that. It's truly like that, man. Sometimes you don't know the person that's literally in your house, you know? So I just wanted to clear that up. I know I'll probably go get a comment or two if they stay to this part of the video. But yeah, man, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below how you felt about this. Everything. Just let me know how you felt about this. We've been waiting for this documentary for months now, and it's finally here. And wow, time flies. But yeah, man, that's the end of the video. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see y'all in this video, man. Peace.